What is the biggest problem the atheist has with God? You know what it is? He'll come to you and say, oh yeah, there's a God, then how come there's so much injustice? How come there's so much killing? How come there's so much disease? How come there's so much poverty? How come there's so much cruelty? How come criminals get away with their crimes? Right? These are the kinds of questions he asks. And make it even simpler. Let's look at it from the Islamic point of view. You know, there's somebody who kills. Some innocent person, he kills an innocent person. What's the most you can do to them? You can kill them. Kill them back. Right? Eye for eye, you know, an eye for an eye, head for a head, etc. Right? But now think about this. If one person kills 100 people, what's the most you can do to them? If one person kills 100, you can't kill him 100 times. How many times can you kill him? Once. So from a philosophical point of view, is that justice or no? That's not justice. That's not fair. Similarly, the people who do good, let's not just talk about people who do evil. People who do good, do they necessarily get what they deserve? People that are charitable or act righteously. Look at the legacies of some of the greatest people that ever lived. Alayhim salam. Musa alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam. These are ulul azm min ar-rusul, right? The messengers of the greatest commitment. And look at their life. Easy life? Because they're the best people, they should have the most reward or most comfort? No, you look at their lives and they're the most uncomfortable lives. Being thrown into a fire, attempting to slaughter your own son, right? All these difficulties, and then leaving out in the middle of being labeled a fugitive from the law, wanted for murder, sent out in the middle of the desert, working for somebody, laborers with extreme labor. Nuh alayhi salam conveying the message to the people for 950 years. None of this sounds easy. So on the side of evil you don't see justice, and on the side of good it seems like there's no justice, except we believe Allah is just. So how do you balance, in accounting terms, how do you debit the credit and how do you credit the debit? How do you balance this accounting, this journal? The only means of that is the Day of Judgment. The only means of that is the Day of Judgment. If you don't believe that Allah will do justice on that day and that guy who killed 100 people will pay for every one of them fully, then you don't believe that He's fair, ma'adallah. So your belief in Allah disappears. And so when Allah began, He says, Ash-Shaf'i wal-Watr, refers to the creation and to the uniqueness of Allah. Then it refers to the two parts of life, this world and the next world. And if you refuse to believe in the next world, then you cannot believe in justice. And when you stop believing in justice, what goes away with it? The belief in Allah Azza wa Jal. The belief in Allah disappears. وَالشَّفْعِ وَالْوَتْرِ. It's incredible how beautifully and how eloquently and how briefly Allah has captured these enormous teachings inside very, very brief words. وَالْفَجْرِ وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ وَالشَّفْعِ وَالْوَتْرِ.